front line. I'd like to welcome everybody to Crypto Nation News. Got the big dog in the house today. we're going to be sitting down with Mr. Rob Cash. We're going to be talking about CBDCs, one world currencies, and a tweet that Mr. Rob Cash sent out that has a video in it that has really truly sparked all of this conversation. Mr. Rob Cash, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, alive and on the set and stacking the XRP and matter of fact, and other altcoins, because XRP is not an altcoin, baby.
All right, so we got a really good discussion coming for these guys today, and I think we share a little bit of a different opinion on some aspects of it, and I think that's a really good thing. I think that we ought to have different opinions in the space because that's really and truly what helps us grow. That's what helps us learn. If we all agreed 100%, then we wouldn't have anything to look forward to when we come on here and start researching. So to start off with, what I want to do, guys, is I really want to play this video that Mr. Rob Cash tweeted out, and I think this is really going to get a good discussion started, and I'm looking forward to having this discussion with you, Mr. Rob.
Indeed, brother.
All right, so let me pull this video up, guys. Let's get out of all of that. That's not the video. Here we go.
I've had several people asking me about currencies. Do you see it possible to get to a point where, I mean, the euro decline, that kind of thing? We've never had a currency last anyways, historically. You get to a point where a world currency shows up. It's not going to be, as you said, not going to be Bitcoin or stuff like that. But do you see them in the aftermath of this coming up with a global currency?
There is a proposal by the IMF to turn the SDR into the reserve currency per se. I'm kind of against it because the IMF is, to me, a very questionable organization. It has been bribed before. As I was mentioning, if there's any government involvement in anything that, you offer somebody, twice their salary and they give up everything in the church, I don't really know if, that is a proposal on the table. The U.S. does not want the dollar to be the reserve currency. And that has come to a head mainly because of the whole issue with the ECB lowering interest rates. And Janet Yellen was, actually yelling at Draghi and saying, listen, this is crazy. You can't do this. Because she understood and saw what was happening with the pension funds, et cetera. And she kept coming out saying, we have to normalize interest rates, which was basically the code word for raising it. And she understood that they were creating this problem here. And Draghi would not back off. And now he's completely trapped, completely. So, it's difficult. The Fed was being lobbied by the IMF, ECB, and everybody else. You don't raise interest rates because you're going to hurt us. Mm-hmm. So that made it more or less come home that, hey, this isn't very good for reserve currency status, that we should be managing the economy based upon domestic considerations. So there's definitely a move towards to try to end the dollar reserve currency. Then they want to be able to raise interest rates or lower interest rates without being lobbied by everybody else in the world. They raise interest rates, and then what happens, the U.S. gets blamed for taking down emerging markets. It's the Americans that call it. So it's very convoluted, and so how do you resolve that? It is to create some sort of international currency. I believe every country is still going to have to retain their own. I do not see this as a one world single currency that everybody's going to use to go shopping internationally. That couldn't possibly last for long. And besides that, you then have a situation of then every country's going to have its budget. You just see the EU, yelling at Italy, "Oh, your budget's." You would end up in the same thing. So I don't see this one world government where everybody surrenders their sovereignty to some entity in the place. The only way something like that would happen is if you're talking about war, and dictatorship or something. But to voluntarily say, okay, fine, yes, you're right, we're going to hand over our power, I don't see that as plausible. Not under the current situations. It would have to take a war to get to that.
But one of the other things.
All right, guys, so that's the video that I wanted to show you to really get this conversation going with Rob. You tweeted this out earlier, Rob, and it's you asked for people's opinions on the video, and I really just called you up and said, hey, look, big dog, I have too much opinion on this video just to send a tweet out. We really need to sit down and have a discussion about this and really and truly get everyone's opinion, not only from mine and your perspective, but actually let them put some comments in the comment section or either below this video, or however that looks, because this needs to be a discussion that's had. And I think that what I want to do first is really get your thoughts and opinions on a one world economy, what that looks like to you personally, outside of any discussion that you and I have already had. And then I want to get your opinion on the plausibility of having a one world government, which in my opinion, a one world government is not going to work. We're not going to see that in my lifetime. Whether that ever happens, whether we're going to have one dictator that puts his thumb down on every country, I don't personally see that ever happening. I don't foresee any other country giving up power and allowing that to happen. But I want to get your thoughts and opinions on both a one world economy and a one world government.
Okay. Not to get too tinfoil hattish, but seeing the things that I've seen over the years so far as, all the things that I've stumbled upon and things of that nature and have watched over the years, I firmly think there is an agenda for a one world government. Would it happen in my lifetime? I don't think so. Now, a one world currency, at one point I felt there, that was, of course, and it was part of that plan as well, And so far as a one world dictator, I definitely don't see that happening, but I suggest I think it would be a group that would dictate that situation. Now, so far as one world economy, one of the things that, just to go straight to the shit, if people don't mind me saying so, I think ILP would make that possible. So far, CBDCs, I kind of lost my thought here because let me backtrack a little bit. I personally think a global economy is a good thing, especially for us that hold cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency is putting a lot of people that was excluded from true global economy now up to the forefront.
I think that a global economy looks different than what people think with a one world currency. I don't see a one world currency, and we have a lot of talk about CBDCs and such as that. I sent a tweet out that I thought was extremely interesting, and I want to share that tweet with you, Rob, and everybody else here, because I think it holds more weight than what anybody actually realizes, and that's coming in with this that we're showing on the screen right now, through BRICS. Mobile payments built with BRICS globally. This come out through payments.com. So the little introduction that they show here, as reported last month, the BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been moving toward a unified payment system. This little bit that I wrote on the top right here, this is actually a copy and paste out of the article, and it says the next decade may see these countries, which are home to roughly 40% of the globe's population, unify around a single mobile payment service and become an epicenter for e-commerce and other transactions done seamlessly across borders. When I looked at this article, I thought how big this was for BRICS. That's 40% of the global economy, 40% of the global population wanting to move money through one payment source, one payment system. All right. But what was very, very interesting is that if we click on this article and try to get it to pull up so that we can share this article with everybody else, somebody saw this article that did not want this article out. They got with payments.com and said, look, man, you have got to take that down. That has to go. That needs to disappear. We don't need that out into the area. We don't need it in the space. It really and truly, tinfoil hatish, like you say, it really and truly gives me a picture of where this thing is going and how it's going to get there. And when we start talking about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and the gentleman in the video saying that the United States does not want the dollar as the reserve currency, that's like basically saying that the United States don't want power of the economy anymore. I don't 100% agree with his statement saying that the U.S. does not want to have that as a central currency, but I could be very wrong. We just need to see what that looks like. But CBDCs, on the other hand, a lot of people look at CBDCs in a way that they think that this is a hindrance towards the growth of digital currencies and that you and I are actually invested in, but I don't think it's that way at all. My personal opinion, and I want to get your opinion also, that CBDCs are created as another piece of the puzzle to link all of this together, because we don't want a one world economy. I mean, a one world global dollar, basically. What we want is for all of these countries to have their own CBDC. They can look at this in two different directions. They can have a CBDC, or they can have a synthetic CBDC, which is nothing more, in my opinion, of giving some of these countries that are lagging behind an opportunity to actually get their scientists and get their team working on a CBDC for their economy. And then for something that's going to link everything together. What's going to link everything together, Rob, is where we have ILP coming into the scenario, and CBDCs are realistically just what it sounds like they are. They're a central bank digital currency that is going to be that nation's currency, because what we don't want, like he mentioned in the video, we don't want the EU turning around and screaming at Italy, hey, your budget is screwing with my money, your budget is killing my economy, and they don't want that. So that's how you're going to get into the CBDC, the synthetic CBDC, and then what's coming off of that is 100% linked together through ILP, and we all know who is the backbone to ILP and distributed ledger technology. We know where that backbone is, and we see where this is going, but what are your thoughts and opinions on where we're going, Rob?
All right. Well, personally, I just think the CBDCs is really just an upgrade to the fiat, and it's just to keep the fiat relevant or just bring it to current times with what's going on with digital assets. And it really is just to show them that, hey, just to put it in a corny term, like we can make our currency modern too, just to, for people that are getting into cryptocurrencies. And I think that's really to catch the attention to people that are new to the space as well. As opposed to OGs like us that really understands that, no, you're just making a digital dollar. That's all you're doing. It has no utility. It has nothing else. It's just a digital dollar. And people new to the space will look at it as, oh, that's cryptocurrency. And it's just them basically just being current with the fiat. Now, so far as ILP, they can make all the CBDCs they want to make, but it means nothing if they can't talk to each other, period. just the way the physical dollar talks to every other fiat currency around the world. The dollar is just the dollar is the old ILP, how we discussed earlier, because all these countries communicate with each other now through the world reserve currency, which is the dollar. So ILP is going to make sure all these CBDCs be able to talk to each other. And these CBDCs are really just identities. They're able to keep they're able to keep their currency sovereign. They're able to keep their identity, but they still need to talk to each other economically and go globally. And ILP is going to make sure that happens. They need it. And again, just to put it simply, they can make all the CBDCs they want to make, but they still have to talk to each other through ILP. And we know what they'll be using to do that, because they can create all the different sovereign digital currencies they want to make, but if they can't trade with each other with some type of neutral player to make them communicate with each other and trade, it's useless. Period.
Guys, I appreciate everybody coming in to hang out with me and Rob as we get through here this morning. I know he appreciates it, guys. We have Devin Steve, we have Leonard 2077, we have Patricia C, Trina Hudson, XRP Harlem, Ed Tech Consulting, Alex Yeat, Staff Sergeant of the Marines. We salute you, kind sir. We appreciate you coming in here and hanging out with us. Everybody, we want to get you chiming in on this discussion. EdTech Consulting has actually put in here each country with their own digital currency would work if XRP handles the bridge and deals with the Nostro Vostro accounts to seamlessly make the exchange instantly. And that's exactly what we're talking about here, is realistically, CBDCs are not here to take away from what XRP is actually working towards. It is here, CBDCs are here to enhance that operation and really and truly be that piece of the puzzle to actually pull it all together. It takes the whole picture that we have to look at and understand that situation. But some people are going to ask, Rob, so how do you and I make money off of XRP and other digital assets if what they're being used for is just to tie the globe together like what it is? I have thoughts and opinions on how that's going to look, a new stock market. What are your thoughts and opinions on how that's going to look? And then I'll give mine. Let's go with that.
Honestly, I think it's just going to be each digital currency fulfilling its particular niche. So what I'm saying is certain institutions, depends on what they're doing. Like, just say we're talking about VeChain. We're looking at supply chain solutions and stuff like that. And so I think different assets that perform a specific or solves a specific problem will survive, because every single digital asset won't necessarily be for a means of exchange. They're going to have utility. And at the end of the day, Brad said it himself. Utility tokens are going to be the future of the next wave of what's going to survive, what's going to be profitable. So it's going to be the utility of a digital token that'll give its perspective, use or survival or value. And that's how we're going to make money. Plus, being here early, let's call it what it is, because it's still business. Being here early is as well as what's going to have people like me and you and people in the comments. That's how we're going to make money, because we're here early. We're able to get the good pickings, doing the investigations and researching what's going on, and knowing what new, businesses are being built to use these particular assets. So I think assets with utility are going to survive, because again, it's not just all about, just monetary. It's about use case as well.
Absolutely. It's definitely about the use case. It's definitely about what this thing can do for you. Devin Steve, he says, CBDC to remain each sovereign state. It does not flow between countries, ? And 100%, I'm going to say that is exactly how it's going to work. CBDCs will stay sovereign to its own nation and will not flow into another nation. That's the reason we have a bridge asset between XRP that is actually going to let that settle into the next nation's in the next nation's CBDC or whatever it is they have going on. So that's the way I see that. But how I see us making money, and Trina Hudson said a new stock market will require a major change. And absolutely, I 100% agree with that. But what we're going to see is we're going to see the major players of the stock market, your Fidelities, your Goldman Sachs, your guys that are really and truly the household trusted name. And I've actually did a video on Fidelity and how they're actually making all of this work, on how you and I can make money off of this. And it's 100% off of the use case, honestly. But they're going to have backdoor exchanges. They're going to have things working in the back end that their clients are not going to see. You go to Fidelity, you go to TD Ameritrade, you go to any of these guys and wanting to invest in cryptocurrencies, they're going to be able to supply you with that function, but you're never going to understand that on the back end of it, that they're dealing with Binance, they're dealing with Coinbase, they're dealing with crypto exchanges that you don't see in the background. And the only thing you know is that you have a household name, a trusted provider for you to invest your money with, to trust your money with, that is not self-insured, that is truly insured, and that they're going to be able to take care of your money and take care of you and have you invested into digital assets and everything else. And that's the direction in which this thing is going. We're starting to see that more and more open up every day. And Fidelity are just the first ones to open up the door and say, hey, we're doing it. And we just seen that SBI has actually invested into a stock exchange. And really and truly, we could see the same thing happening, a backdoor market that the people that are investing into that stock exchange don't see, that are investing in a cryptocurrency in the background. How does that make sense to you, Rob?
I mean, absolutely. But I think the real question here is, how do we keep making money? Because, again, like I said earlier, for us that are here right now, live in the chat, we're going to make money. We have the advantage of just timing. We're going to make money, period. The question is, how are we going to keep making money with this new infrastructure that's being built, besides just grabbing, holding, and making money off what's being built at the moment? How do we keep making money with these new, layers that are being built in the background? And I think that's where the uncharted territory, that's where we need to dive into to see how we're going to keep making money with all these new products that we may or may not have access to.
So what we're going to see, and this is just like I say all the time, this is just my opinion, but this is how I feel like what we're going to see is really and truly is going to be your projects that have real use case, real partnerships solving real problems. We're going to see those start to expand even further. The use case behind XRP, I mean, we're looking at cross-border payments, but I mean, just open up the internet and look at Coral, look at Cinnamon, look at Puma, look at Zoom that's fixing to come out through XRPL Labs, look at the Tipbot, and look at all of these things that can be built upon it. And it's an endless opportunity for things that can realistically be built on top of digital assets that have true backbone with true utility and can really and truly do some special things. As you start looking around the landscape, I mean, I see a handful that have major potential. You see things like VET. VET has major potential to do things on the positive side of the world and actually make some changes and go into a direction in which they need to go to. They're going to have some battles competing with the likes of Ethereum, but at the end of the day, I still feel like VET, being so new and solving some problems that Ethereum didn't solve on the front end, I don't think they're going to have that hard of a time competing with Ethereum and what they have going on. But we still see digital assets that are showing up that really solve a problem. They're not just a store of value. And as we invest into that digital asset and it starts spreading its wings and it really starts solving problems across the globe, everybody are going to want to go to these places like Fidelity, TD Ameritrade. Coinbase is actually a broker. It's not an exchange. It's actually a digital asset broker. So Coinbase might be in that mix also, but we're going to see more and more people flocking to that. But what happens is people like Fidelity open up the door and get people understanding that there's stuff in this space outside of Bitcoin. How many people do you know that know about Bitcoin but don't know about any other digital asset in the world?
I know a few, you know, and surprisingly, actually, I'm surprised they even knew about Bitcoin. But to be honest, more people definitely engage with, you know, the knowledge of Bitcoin before any other asset, so far as a stranger or just people I know personally.
All right, so Staff Sergeant of the Marines says take money from collateralized loans and invest in new projects to capitalize on return on investment in the long and medium term. I don't disagree with that. As you're making your profits, absolutely, you need to start looking for something else to invest in, because realistically, everything has a shelf life. Not everything is going to last forever. Sooner or later, it's going to see a peak, and you want to be in the situation to where you actually can move forward and actually start making some money elsewhere. Also, we got Spanish Fly coming in. We got Kick Boy coming in, talking about the black guy and the fat guy. Hey, whatever works, baby. Whatever works. We got Leonard 2077 CBDCs per country and XRP as the bridge currency between sender and receiver. This will have huge impact on liquidity. The latter will create money every second, every day. Just my opinion. And I got to say, I don't disagree with it either, because we are moving into a situation to where your employer does not have to pay you monthly, does not have to pay you bi-weekly, does not have to pay you weekly. You can get paid by the minute, by the second to do your job. But realistically, how many people want to get paid by the second and realistically take their paycheck home for that day at the end of that day? Me personally, I would spend it daily. I really and truly, I kind of like having it weekly. You know what I mean? So
one lump sum.
Yeah, one lump sum. Let me get some bills paid before I start spending it all out. We got Colorful Crypto coming in. Good morning, guys. Hey, good morning to you, Colorful Crypto. We're glad to have you in here. What are your names, please? I'm first time. I think this name is Paolo Hugas. My name is James Malpass. We have on Mr. Rob Cash. If it's your first time in here, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn the bell on. Guys, we have a giveaway coming up. It's going to be happening next week. We're going to be giving away 1,000 XRP live. We're going to be bringing in some guys. We're going to have a party with it. We're going to say Merry Christmas. We're going to say thank you to all the subs that have subscribed to the channel. And we're definitely going to have a party with it and basically just say Merry Christmas and thank you at the same time. Mr. Rob Cash, I'm hoping that you have the opportunity to come on that party as well. Probably going to be bringing on some of my Zoo brothers. I know Kick Boy. He always enjoys a good party. He can come on in here and hang out with us and help give away some XRP. I think it'll be good. Acid Burn Van Week. Agreed, XRP is my gateway to invest into other projects and remain an early investor stage in other projects. Absolutely. And that's what we really need to do. We need to start. We know for a fact XRP is a winner. We know what they're working on. We know what they're moving towards. Once you get yourself into a situation, and there's a lot of people that are out there that are bashing on DM Logic right now with all of his shilling of casino coin. But what he's doing is really and truly what he's doing is pretty smart. His marketing campaign for it, on the other hand, some people might not like, or they might like, I don't know. But what he is doing is he is looking into the next project that he feels like is going to be able to make him some money, and he's getting in under a cent and trying to stack up some bags of that. And realistically, I wish I would have been that smart in XRP and got in under a cent instead of looking at other things that really and truly wasted time, wasted money, things I lost money on. So his strategy as far as that, I'm impressed with, because it really and truly, that's what you have to do. You have to go out and look for the next thing. And I think there's going to be several winners in that next thing. I think Vet holds weight. I'm really and truly want to see how they play it out with Ethereum, because most of what Vet is doing can be done on an Ethereum smart contract, whether anybody wants to agree with that or not. It can be done. I actually shared a video, and I did not list the token in which it was actually working with, and it was actually an Ethereum video, and I got probably 800 comments on Vet. oh, vet 100, vet to the moon, vet this, vet that. And it wasn't even about vet. So there's a lot of people that are confused about what vet is doing, how that holds weight, and where they're moving at to the future. But what vet is actually working on is pretty cool. And if they can work out things, I think that it has some strong backbone in the future. It's still really early in vet's life. We have to see how that plays out. But when you start looking around the landscape, there are some good things that have been around for a long time. I'm really impressed with the team behind ADA, and it's still extremely early to get into ADA. If you can get in for a couple of pennies, why not go ahead and look at what they're doing, look at the team that they're involved with, look at what they're building, and make your own educated decision on what you want to do as far as that. But we already know that XRP is the future. But I have a bad addiction, and my addiction is buying XRP, and I'm just gonna have to sit back and just keep stacking my bags and wait till it gets a little bigger, and then make my move into something else. But I'm already investigating. I'm already looking. But in the meantime, if I can get XRP under 20 cents, if I can get XRP under $1, if I can get XRP under $1, I'm gonna continue to stack. That's just my approach. That's my opinion. Rob Cash, where's your future looking like with digital assets, brother?
Well, you know what? Actually, if you quite a few videos back months ago, I backed off of XRP. Not so far as stacking, but so far as information-wise. I started, venturing off to other assets and things like that because I've always been diversified. I live my life diversified. And I felt like XRP is just a no damn brainer. That's why I just was like, you know what? And I put out a tweet the other day. I'm like, listen, there's nothing else to research. Of course, you should stay current with what's going on with Ripple Labs and XRP and things of that nature. But so far as like the energy, it's I'm not going to waste anymore. XRP is a no-brainer at this point, and that's why I started looking into VET, which I had early. It's a year now I've been in VET. So far as that, ADA, of course I'm still on Pundy, and just to touch on DM Logic real quick, a lot of people in the space, and again, especially a lot of newbies. Listen, you're not OG. Sit back, learn. Stop talking out of turn. I just have to say that. People have the right to, like just say with DM Logic, and there's a few OGs that do this too. When someone start looking and venturing off into other projects, people have very toxic opinions about that. Listen, that's that man's money. What he buy won't make you broke. So don't worry about what he's doing. And do your own research at the end of the day. Even with XRP, don't take our word for it. Don't take Rob Cash's word for it. Don't take Malpass's word for it. Do your own research because it's your money. Because at the end of the day, you pulled the trigger on your selections. And now to get back to VET real quick, I got into VET about a year now. And the one thing I do like that they're doing is that they're actually not trying to compete with Ethereum. They're looking into supply chains and things of that nature. And I'm heavy on Ethereum too because a lot of governments and a lot of major institutions love Ethereum. Okay, so I hold Ethereum, and the future's still bright for it. And I just think right now they're a little stagnant, and it's giving a lot of other projects like ADA and VET a chance to infiltrate in a sense, my way of putting it. But I'm very diversified, dude. I'm me, dude. I hold like 20, 30 different and because of greed as well, because I always like to be transparent with people. There's some coins I hold just because of the word of certain people, and I'm not putting that on them, okay? I've seen the documents that they've shared, and I go, okay, that makes a little sense. And I'll put a little bit of money on it because I'm not trying to miss nothing. But so far as like wholeheartedly research and things like that, my top 5 would be XRP, VET, Ethereum, ADA, and of course, I hold Bitcoin. That's my top 5.
Hey, my top five, man, is gonna blow people away. They're probably gonna say, "There's no way this dude just holds all these different ones." But my top 5 are just simple: XRP, 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 and XRP. I'm sorry, guys. I am a true XRP fanatic. I do not hold any other assets. I am putting it all on the big dog. I'm putting it all on the horse. If I go to zero, I'm riding it to zero with a smile. If I make it to where, if I make it to where I don't have to stress economics in my family, then hey, I'm gonna ride it out with a smile also. But all signs for me, and it's my own investment strategy, right, wrong, or indifferent. Realistically, it's not the right time for me to invest in other projects. I feel like I still have time to get in at the basement of some really good things because we're early. Yeah. Good things are coming. Good things are coming. Yeah. But I don't want to miss the boat on what I really and truly have done all my research on. I want to stay true to what I've done my research on. So they're really a good question here that come in. James, there were talks about Ripple possible IPO in the future. Any thoughts on this and how this will affect XRP holders? What are your thoughts on an IPO, Rob Cash?
Whew. You know what? Remember, there was some discussion about it last year, so far as Ripple going public. But what it would do for XRP, honestly, the only way I see that helping XRP is that Ripple going public would be a FOMO tidal wave, I think. I don't think it would be anything organic. I think if XRP was to capitalize off that, it would be because of a big FOMO run.
All right, so we got some big names that have popped in. We got Crypto Eddie hanging out with us today. Crypto Eddie, it's always a blessing to have you around. I thank you very much. We got Notorious XRP, the cinematic content creator of the space. Guys, if you are not if you're not subscribed to Notorious XRP, man, you are really missing out on a good show. This guy puts on movie-style content creations, and it's really fun to watch. Just get your popcorn, sit back, turn YouTube onto your TV because smart TVs are everywhere. Go ahead and turn it on and just sit back and enjoy a good show, man. Notorious really does it. We got Moneybags in the house. Danny Torres, thank you very much. We got Jet Digital, Miyagi, Ranger Cove 175, the fantasy football killer. Ranger Cove has just wiped the floor with me in fantasy football. Done lost all my XRP that we put on the line in there. Ranger, you owe me some XRP for giving you all mine. We got Blockchain Monkeys. Hey, we appreciate you coming in here and hanging out with us. We got XRP Bags. We got a good crowd in here, Rob. We got about 76 people in here. If you haven't done so, we're trying to make it to 2,000 subscribers before we give this giveaway next week. 1,000 XRP given away live on the channel. It's going to be a Merry Christmas and thank you for subbing at the same time. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn the bell on because you don't want to miss that party. We're going to have a good time. We're going to give away some XRP and we're just going to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting the channel. Definitely appreciate the opportunity to come in here. I'm blown away by the reaction. Been doing this channel for 5 weeks now, Rob. 5 weeks. We're at 1,850 subscribers last time I looked. Over 60,000 hours viewed. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can't believe how it's going, and I'm just blown away from the reaction from the community, and we definitely appreciate everybody.
Man, I'm not surprised. You always do quality work, brother, and I think it's going to get bigger for you.
Hey, I'm excited about where the future is going to go. Got some good things coming out, and definitely want to keep at it and see where it goes. We got Jag17. Is it possible that the funds raised by Ripple are to outright buy MoneyGram? I don't foresee MoneyGram wanting to come off of the whole thing, but who's to say that they don't have other payment providers like MoneyGram that they want to go ahead and get a little piece of their pie and go ahead and get them working with XRP also and build up with them also. It's I think it's going to be an endless possibility of ideas that we can all speculate on all day long. We could actually speculate towards Western Union. We could speculate towards wallet companies. We can speculate all the way across the board on what we think Ripple's going to do with the money. But at the end of the day, we know that it's going to be to push forward the adoption of ODL and XRP. So whatever they do with the money, I really trust them. They're smart. They've been working on this thing for a long time. They know what they want to do,
productive.
and they
They're
got a
very
game plan
productive.
together, and they haven't slacked off. They're moving forward with their game plan. They're crushing their goals, and I have a lot of respect for the whole team behind them. So when they raise $200 million, whatever that's going for has to be a good scenario for ODL and XRP. What do you think, Rob Cash?
I think they've been very, very productive, so far as what they've done with their profits and how they're trying to incubate and create just the most robust ecosystem for XRP. And just their actions over the last year just speaks volumes. And it's at the point where I just can't fathom failure at all, with the Ripple Corporation, with what they're done. They haven't gone out and Lamboed themselves to death. They take those profits and they put it back into Ripple, and they're securing the future of XRP and the ecosystem for it to thrive. Whoever can't see that definitely need to have their eyes and brain checked.
Hey, Ripple spending XRP to fund Ripple is no different than what anybody else is doing in the space. It just so happens that Ripple is transparent about it and tells us about it. So therefore, everybody wants to ride their butt. But what about Vitalik Buterin? Vitalik Buterin just sold a ton of Ethereum. Not only did he sell a ton of Ethereum, but the early investors, they've dumped 300,000 Ethereum in the last 3 months. We don't hear anything about that. They just want to bash Ripple, and Ripple is being 100% transparent on everything that they do with their money, and they don't have to do that, guys. There's nobody else in the space doing that, and it just shows the integrity and the honesty that they're actually putting forward in what they're doing, and my hat's off to them. I'm not going to say that Ripple is too big to fail. $10 billion is not a lot of money. It sounds like a lot of money because you and I, neither one, have ever put our hands on $10 billion, so it sounds like a lot of money. But when you start looking at a global economy, not just a global economy, but tying together a global economy, and what that looks like, $10 billion is a drop in the bucket in the long run, in my opinion. It's not even half of where Ripple was during the 2017 bull run when XRP ran up. So when you actually think about that, $10 billion is not a lot of money. Not a lot of money. What are your thoughts, Rob Cash?
People fail to realize that this is still business. Things don't operate, just because we want them to operate. People have to live in reality. Vitalik Buterin can't get things done without funding. These things take funding. I don't know what rock people live under, okay? These things take funding. In order to achieve the next level, money has to be spent. And if you're sitting on XRP, you can use that to get it done, then get it done. It's about getting things done. In the world we live in, we use economics. So economics requires funding. Whatever. But you know what? We should visit back to the BRICS, because I don't think we really got into the meat and potatoes of that dope ass article you shared about the situation that's going on with that.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
For those that are new to the live stream, Malpass put up an article, which I think you should share again, about the what the BRIC nations are doing to create, I guess, a centralized payment system with whatever they're doing. Let's revisit it.
All right, so here it is here. Built with BRICS globally, this come out on payments.com. As reported last month, the BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been moving towards a unified payment system. And realistically, what that is they're just going to have 40% of the globe moving money through a unified payment system. This what I wrote at the top right here is just basically a copy and paste directly out of the article. The next decade may see these countries, which are home to roughly 40% of the globe's population, unify around a single mobile payments service and become an epicenter for e-commerce and other transactions done seamlessly across borders. This is how we got into the CBDC talk, about how that all transpires. But what blows me away is somebody didn't want anybody to see this article, because as of now, they have taken it down. You can't even pull it up. The page you request does not exist or has moved. It's a shame that it has moved, because that is a huge, huge ordeal when it comes to BRICS. We're talking about 40% of the globe's population, and it really and truly gives you a grand idea of where things are going. But the only way that 40% of the globe can move money seamlessly across borders is realistically only one scenario, and we know how that goes, and that's going to be ILP. We've heard it too many times that ILP is definitely going to be the winner in the space when it comes to tying together all of this stuff. Give me your thoughts and opinions on where you want to go with this article, Rob, and then I'll give you some more.
All right. The reason why the article was important to me, because no matter, you can't escape it. A lot of people think, yeah, I'm going to buy some cryptocurrency and I'm going to make money, but the geopolitical landscape matters, and you need to be abreast of what's going on with these things. And again, the BRICS have been building some type of coalition amongst themselves for years now, but before cryptocurrency became mainstream talk. And they've been doing this with precious metals. And the reason why I'm concerned with what the BRICS doing, because first of all, just with fiat currency alone, they've been protecting themselves with gold heavily right now. And who knows what their game plan could be, so far as the next phase. Could they have a cryptocurrency being backed by gold? Because all those guys have been working together with that, notion to get away from the dollar. And when you look at it, the BRICS, their movements are in contrary to what's going on with the West. Me personally, I think those things matter and should be looked at all the time, because they're looking to separate themselves. But at the same time, I'm looking at how XRP can still bridge all these things together, because no matter what, we all need each other, economically, because we can all swim in our little pools. But at the end of the day, those waters have to connect to the ocean. Okay. And ILP is still going to do that. But I still got my eye on the BRIC nations so far as what they're doing on a fiat level, because if their fiat is more powerful and then they change that fiat to a CBDC, who knows? I'm not saying I know anything. Those are questions that are running around in my head. So if there's anyone who has some insight on that, matter of fact, let me know. That I'm throwing that out there as, as some questionable, acts or whatever.
When you talk about a cryptocurrency being backed by gold, I don't think that is I don't think that's too far off in the future, because we know that everything is going digital, and everything will need that digital footprint and be backed by something. We understand that. But as far as the rumors going around about XRP being backed by gold, I still cannot get bought into that theory. I don't see how in the world that could ever happen, and there's a lot of people in the space that are torn between whether it could happen or not. I'm seeing mixed responses. A lot of people are saying, oh yes, that can happen at any point in time, and then I see other people that are saying 100% that don't make sense. It can't happen. There's no way for that to happen. So as far as XRP goes, I'm still on the side of I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think that that's possible to happen. But there again, I'm still learning just like everybody else is learning, and maybe one day I might be proved wrong, but I don't see that happening. I do see gold being the backbone of a digital asset, simply for the fact that you have things like Sologenics. Sologenics is bringing how many stocks to the XRP ledger for you to actually be able to trade stocks on the XRP ledger. And I see more and more things that are going to be going that way. ILP, guys, ILP is the winner. ILP is the backbone for everything they want to do. And whether or not anybody understands how important the ILP is, they will start to learn that as time goes forward, because ILP is the key. Without ILP, without distributed ledger technology, without interledger protocol, without that stuff, nothing is moving forward. And I got to applaud the gentlemen that busted their butts and moved from the project in which we see in Bitcoin to a project in which we see are truly changing the globe. I have to applaud these guys because what they have done with the XRP ledger is unbelievable and just blows my mind away on where this thing is going.
And you know what? That's why I get so confused, when I see comments on Twitter and even in my YouTube videos where people just go, well, yeah, look at the price. And I go, well, damn, did you look at the research? It's how can you, if greatness takes time, and for me, I'm willing to give them time. Of course, I'm ready to eat, just to put it simple, like everyone else. But I'm respecting what's being built as well, and greatness takes time. And I'm allowing them to have as much time as they need to make sure that this just does not fail. Because all roads, as you say, all roads lead to ILP, leads to DLT.
The price of XRP, realistically, it doesn't matter. In the long run, we know what it's going to be. The price of XRP today doesn't matter. And I'm going to explain to you why it doesn't matter. It's because it's 100% manipulated to where it's at. There's a reason that we're still tied to Bitcoin. There is a reason why they never mentioned XRP, ILP, the XRP ledger. There's a reason why these conversations don't really come up. But there's also a reason why we're starting to see it happen now. There's a reason. You know what?
You notice they always bring up the utility, but they never mention anything by name.
But they are now. We have it coming out in government documents. Twice we've seen it on.
I meant verbally.
yeah. Twice we've seen it on national news, on world news channels. Twice in the past week. Right after it comes out into a government document, and there's going to become a time that we're not tied to Bitcoin. As of right now, Bitcoin is manipulating the market. They use Bitcoin as that lever. Okay, they're getting a little out of hand. Let's snatch some money out of their pocket and let's calm them down a little bit. Let's drain some Bitcoin stock. Okay, we're starting to lose some of them. Let's raise the price of Bitcoin up a little bit. They're going to tease us just long enough to keep us interested, but what they don't understand, if they've teased us long enough for us to dig in and know more about it than they do, and now we know what we got. We know where we're going. We know the future of finance, and it's all spelled out in front of us, but there's still 99% of the globe that don't know it. You know what I mean? You with me?
Yo, I agree with you, brother, 100% on that whole lever, the whole scenario. I agree with you 100%. And we know what we got.
That's right. Let's get into some comments right here. Moneybags, ILP may prevent all nations from wanting to hack power grids.
That's something to think about.
I'm gonna have to ponder on that a little bit.
That's something to think about, though.
All right, Danny Torres. David Schwartz says that he thinks 2020 will be the year of connectivity. I thought that was 19. I thought 19 was the year that we started actually connecting things together. But, hey, I'm going to dig into that. I appreciate you saying that right there. Let's see. Moneybags, BTC is the most liquid crypto in world currency. Or in world. He corrected it. And absolutely, because the reason BTC is what it is because it has been in the headlines for years. 4 years. And what come out with it right off the rip was how much money everybody was making. Not the fact that the technology will not do what it's supposed to do. Not the fact that it's nothing more than a store of value. Not the fact that nobody knows who the team even is that built this thing or what it's supposed to do. Or none of that. Only thing that come out about BTC was 18, 19, 20-year-old kids invested $100 into BTC, cashed out $81 million in 2017, bought yachts, started playing, started just having parties all over the globe. That's what come out about Bitcoin. And then that attracted a lot of bad actors, realistically, to come into the space and say, okay, let's start investing. That's the reason Bitcoin is where it is. They don't understand the wholeheartedness behind it, that realistically, Bitcoin is nothing much more than a store value. Bitcoin is going to be around forever now because it is that household name, because it is that granddaddy of cryptocurrency, and because it is what everybody resembles behind cryptocurrency. Do you know what cryptocurrency is? Do you mean Bitcoin? No, I mean actual cryptocurrency, that digital assets that have a use, that have real partnerships with real problems being solved. That's the one I'm talking about. Do y'all know what those are? Nah, I've never heard of those. That's the reason Bitcoin is the most liquid asset in the digital asset space. 100%. Now they've opened up the door. They've put XRP out there in government documents. They've put XRP out there on the news a couple of times. Granted, one of those news agencies didn't have a clue what in the world they were talking about, but it's not the point. They're still putting it in the forefront of everybody's head. This is what's going on. This is out there. They're going to bridge money, and it's going to be an exciting time once everybody starts understanding that Bitcoin is not the only person in the space. That's going to be an exciting time.
A large part of the growth as well was, by BTC being the base currency on every single exchange out there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also one of the reasons as well, because in order to even get any other altcoins, you had to buy Bitcoin.
That's right.
And then it was Ethereum. So that's what kept it so liquid for so long as well. Because if you was to put XRP in that scenario, that would change. Because that's the reason why Ethereum is still, holding on, because Ether can be used to purchase almost just as many altcoins as Bitcoin. So it has that same liquidity almost. So if you put XRP in that same scenario, even forget the utility of everything else, you put it in that same scenario, it would thrive in liquidity just as well. So I think that's also the reason why Bitcoin is just so liquid, for that reason. Because if you just get to the meat and potatoes of of performance, it would be shut out. It would be over.
Ethereum, in my opinion, Ethereum was the perfect branding at the perfect time. It come out at the absolute perfect time and really and truly threw out smart contracts in everybody's face and said, this is what we can do. You build upon us. This is what we can do for you. Ethereum branded and went public in a very smart way. That is the reason why you saw the run up on Ethereum in which you saw. But then once it actually got big enough and people started actually seeing that the actual bottlenecks that were happening in the Ethereum chain, the transactions getting clogged up, not settling just like Bitcoin, taking hours for it to go through, transaction costs going through the roof. Once all of that started happening, everybody said, whoa, we don't have nothing more here than a Bitcoin with smart contract capabilities. That's all we have. And that's when you started seeing the decline in Ethereum, when everybody woke up and said, hey, the only thing Ethereum has is a smart contract technology that's easy to build upon because it's easy code to understand, because the code that's been around for coders forever. So they understand it and they built upon it. But once the bottleneck started happening, they ran from it just like everything else. They ran from it. You have to be able to be confident in what you have and have it moving seamlessly. And Ethereum got smart at that and said, you know what? This proof of work don't work. I have to break away from proof of work. And now we see the algorithm swap in which they just had, trying to get this thing going again. And it's moving in the right direction, but is it too late, Rob Cash? Do we have other contracts, other providers for these smart contracts? Is it too late for Ethereum to swap over, or are we just still really early in the game and they can make up for it? What are your thoughts?
You know what? It's hard to say, because time waits for no one. And just remember, the same way Ethereum came up and was the better solution to Bitcoin, There are people out there working 24/7 to build a better mousetrap right now, just to put it simply. That's with everything. Look at the car situation. We beat that scenario up, to dust, but it still holds true. I mean, when Ford built the car, the Dodge brothers came along, and so on and so forth. People just kept building on top of the existing, miracle that came about and just made it better and going to keep making it better. So Ethereum, again, they probably could survive, but time waits for no one.
Hey, Arius Apollo right here made a great point. XRP has smart contracts. It can do it all, brother. And that's one of the reasons.
Exactly.
That's one of the reasons and why I look towards XRP for every investment. Simply for the fact, and I've said it 100 times. I've said it on Jungle's channel when I went on for an interview with Jungle. I've said it all over the place. But before I get into it, Ranger, I definitely appreciate you stopping by, brother. Don't forget, you owe me some XRP for all that you took from me. Let's make sure we get together. But the reason I look at XRP is because everything that every other digital asset is doing, XRP has under one roof. It can do it all.
Yeah.
And you can build smart contracts. You can build smart contracts upon the XRP ledger. But once Codius comes out, we're still waiting on Codius. We're still waiting on a lot of things. But Codius is 100% nothing but smart contracts, correct?
Yeah.
So when you look at around the landscape and you actually see that, it's very interesting to see where it's going to go. We got Razor's one vet. Can XRP do stacking like Tezos? I think he's talking about staking. Can XRP do staking? And no, it is not a proof of stake algorithm. You cannot stake upon it, in my opinion. Rob Cash?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm really not that abreast with staking and stuff like that. The little that I do with that is more so just out of greed. I haven't gotten to the research of staking. So I hold Tezos just for that. And to be honest, I actually bought Tezos because CKJ had mentioned it sometime early in the year when it was cheap. He was talking about it for a while. And so when I guess a surgence of it just happened to pop up, something clicked in the back of my mind. I was like, damn, I remember he mentioned that. And I just bought it just for the hell of it. But let me touch on this real quick. One of the things, just to tell you that how much XRP have under the hood, remember when atomic swaps were the conversation so far as, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stuff like that? There's no need for it. Why do you need atomic swaps when you have the ILP? There's no need for atomic swaps. It's a waste of time now. You have ILP. So look at all the things that ILP, XRP, like you said, just have under the hood. It's almost no use for anything else. Everything is just right there. I'm not gonna say anything else, but if you look at the old regime, XRP is the new regime.
Crypto Eddie just dropped a bomb, brother. I'm talking about straight up bomb. I know there is staking for XRP coming. FYI.
Oh, wow.
Huh? Eddie, we need to get together. We need to talk about this. We got Matt Richter in the house. Hey, always good to see you, buddy. Crypto Eddie, you need to set some time aside for me. We need to get together. We need to have a conversation. I need to pick your brain. And I just want to sit down with the beautiful lady. Crypto Eddie is awesome. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for all your hard work and your contributions to the community. You're simply amazing. My hat's off to you. Definitely love watching some Crypto Eddie. That's my coffee time. That's my coffee time in the morning. Crypto Eddie.
The same here.
All right, we got Jet Digital saying, thanks, Eddie. We got Diesel Hound saying, what? Hey, that's the same thought I had. I said, what?
Yeah, right?
Huh? We need to talk about this.
Well, listen, I got a lot. I'll be staking a whole lot. If they get to that, I got enough. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. Let's stake it.
That's right. But guys, hey, don't forget. We're doing a big 1,000 XRP giveaway. That's going to be happening next week before Christmas. Hit the likes, hit the subscribe, turn the bell on so that you don't miss it. make sure you come on in here and hang out with us. It's going to be a party. We're going to bring some guys in here. We're going to have a big Merry Christmas party on stream, give away some XRP, and just say thank you to everybody that subscribed so far and has made this just a blessed 5 weeks since the channel's started. And definitely appreciate everybody for coming in here. Crypto Eddie dropping bombs. She says she needs the okay. Hey, even if we don't talk about staking, Crypto Eddie, I still want to get together with you. I still want to pick your brain. Always a good time sitting down having a talk with you. Definitely want to have that conversation. Rob Cash, you're the man, brother. I appreciate you coming on in here and hanging out with me. You made it for a great conversation. I love your insight on the situation. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Rob Cash's channel, you're missing out on some motivation. You're missing out on a guy that's going to tell you straight up, stop your bitching. Let's go ahead and get rich. He's going to tell you straight out, and I'm telling you, if you're missing out on Rob Cash streams, you really want to subscribe to his channel. Check out Mr. Rob Cash. He's doing some great things. Rob, as always, brother, I'm glad you come on. Do you want to have something to say to the stream before we get out of here, buddy?
Yeah, man. I just want to tell all the people out there, don't let nobody fudge you out the market. Keep doing your research. Hold on tight. And I think 2020, we got a lot to look forward to. So keep on hollering. Keep on stacking that XRP and whatever it is you're interested in. And do your due diligence and research.
Absolutely. Hey, as always, guys, we may not have it all together, but together we can have it all. Don't take my word for everything. Don't take Rob Cash's word for everything. Dig in, do your research. Let's have intelligent conversations. Let's pick each other up. Let's not bash each other out here in the community if we get something wrong. Let's make sure that we lift each other up. Let's make sure that we all move across this with the same knowledge going forward. Guys, these are the times we're going to remember forever. These are the times that we're going to wish we had back, because these are the times that really and truly build us up. We're going to look back one day and we're going to be wondering how in the world we made it through 2018 and 2019. And the end result of that is because we made it through it together, guys. We picked each other up. And went straight on through the promised land. And guys, it's going to be a good day coming for us. I love every one of you. I thank you for your subscriptions to the channel. I thank you for supporting the channel. And guys, we will see you in the next one.